This is reality, revelation, restoration. I'm going to start off with doubt. Before we can be an effective communicator of honesty to others, all doubt must go. This shouldn't be painful. It's just, you just have to recognize what truth is and honesty. And you can't find it. You can't find it in your imagination because it's unstable and easily outfluenced. It's easily outfluenced from the outside in. Instead, you need to be influenced from the inside out. And you can't do this until, well, you can do it right away, but your proclivities to not trust the truth when you see it and hear it because you've been coerced by the outside to be weak, because the world does not want you to be strong and truthful and honest, because it shows it up for what it is, dishonest. A dishonest world with people lying to each other, and some people want to believe that they want to believe in fantasy, in royalty, in romance and glamour, and it's pride. And it's before I go any further, I know that this message is not endearing to the sinful nature which everyone has, including myself. I see it in myself, and there's certain mechanisms that we need to, it's knowledge that we need to learn from meditation, prayer, and sitting still, and we get reconnected to the to our Creator, and He's going to send you in times, quiet times, when you're quiet, maybe in your bed at night, late, early in the morning, when no one, when you're calm and receptive to God's voice. He's going to send you the directives that are going to put you on, like I said in my last video, most people are back to front. The bottom is on the top. So what God is going to do is He's going to send you the truth. And you're going to see it through visions. And you're going to not believe it at first. Well, you'll be scared of it because it goes against what you've been taught, what you've been programmed to believe. This is why, like, I do this because I'm going to go off on a different thing for a minute. It's principle and reward. And the principle is that I do this video for the principle of it. I'm not going to get a reward for this. Not from, not from any, not from flesh, not from. I mean, I get my rewards for from God. I, He sends me His feelings of joy and gives my life vitality and purpose. I don't need to go. Those are all words. See, that everyone's caught up with words, and but see what happens in the world is the puppet masters that are in charge. They want to weaken you, so they want to give you the reward without principle. A lot like this is a feminine trait. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of women out there that don't fall for this grandma spoiling type of stuff. But when you get a reward for doing what someone's will that is not in line with God's will, you're doing the will of somebody that wants to manipulate you so they can control you, and they buy you a car, but you didn't do anything to deserve it. So the car is worthless, and then most kids would tend to go out and not take care of it. Not all would tend to go out and crack it up and bring it home, and hey, I broke the car, or I broke the car, and here, fix it for me. This is what happens when the wrong people are in charge of your life, or you believe they see grandma. I'm just using grandpa can be a rotten scoundrel too, but grandma wants she gives you her approval and her positive. You're a good boy. In here, I'm going to give you this, and then you go out and she's got you under her control, and she feels this is some diabolical stuff here. She gets a power trip from it. It's all about power and control, and she is, or he, that gives you this stuff without you having to earn it honestly, it's about controlling you. But the thing is, there's strings attached that you don't see right away, that when you don't do things the way when you decide to rebel or not do the will of the wrong person, you're going to see the other side. You're going to see the hate. You're going to see, well, I gave you this and you're supposed to do what I say. If you don't do what I say, I don't like you, and the approval and the rug, and then your so-called loved one isn't really, it's not love. Love is, you can't get love from the world. So the principle is, it's always the principle. Like if someone hires you to do a job, or you go to your job, that you keep in mind, I'm here to do the principle, and all that. It doesn't matter about the reward. You'll get the reward. When we do what's right, we're not going to get rewards from, we're not going to get, we'll get our paycheck because we did what was right. But don't expect love where it can't be found. So, but when you go, say you have been contracted to do a job, and then you start to think about the reward before you start getting caught up in and try to do shortcuts and cheat. and do stuff like this, now you're forgetting the principle. And this is, you're going to run into trouble. When you lie to yourself, when you don't have morals and principles to follow in life, we're going to become demoralized. Then we're easy prey for the predators because we're going to be weak and need their help. And when you need the help of dishonest, they're going to use you. And I mean, I don't need to go any further with this. I'm sure you must know. When you get caught up with the wrong people, bad things happen. This is why we need to know the truth and where it's found in the honesty. And we have to stay in this setting that God put us in. Then we can see the truth. And so now, everyone has thoughts in their mind. You have your thinking, your imagination, and your thinking. Now, your thoughts, you're not your thoughts. Your thoughts, you have a conscience, and when you're a Christian and you believe in the word of Christ, you believe in Christ, in God, which you'll have more, as time goes on, you'll be filled up with more faith, and you know you're on the right track. But until that happens, you'll have to see that you're not your thoughts. You cannot take an identity from that. It's a witch's brew of just there's nothing there. It's illusion. People are so led astray. Almost everyone takes an identity from their thinking because they've been taught that way. It's because you've been coerced and pressured into just forgetting about sitting still and allowing the light from heaven to shine in your mind and illuminate this thought realm for what it is. And plus, what they do too is most people are caught up in the hive mentality. And so if the hive has a virus and is infected with hate and let's just say hate and lies. Now, when you get your thinking from the hive mentality, you're going to be infected too with hate and lies and insanity. So, best off to separate yourself from any mutual admiration societies that, in the light of reality, you can see what they're doing and where they intend to take you. Whatever kind of cult you want to, you'll be able to see right through all this stuff once you get calmed down enough through your practice of your meditation. You're going to calm yourself down. So now, once you're calmed down enough, you can see the truth. And the truth is that there's no reason for you to believe your thoughts anymore as an identity. You'll see that at some point. You'll see your mind blabbering on and talking and you'll see that you're not part of that. That's just not your. It's not you. It's now you're going to when it acts up, which it's going to do, especially when you're onto it. It's going to act up, and you cannot allow yourself to get be moved by it because it's there. But it's not there. It's there, but it's not there. I mean, this is crazy, but it's true. It's there, and it's part of you, and you need it, and it needs you because you need it because it has your energy, and it needs you because it doesn't know what the hell it's doing. It has no vision. It's raw energy without, and you know, it doesn't have God. It needs vision to guide it. They don't tell you this stuff at church. You know, they're not going to because they don't know it. How can someone teach you something that they don't know? And just so you know, right? I don't think I have everything all figured out, and I'm not a know-it-all. You may think I am, if the two people that watch these videos, when you think you've got it all figured out, you're in big trouble, because let's just say you don't have it all figured out, because the minute you do, something unexpected is gonna happen, and and if you're not grounded in reality, and have it in living within from your center of calm, you're going to get swept up and taken away, like on the rapids, and you may get swept up with a group of people that are all going the wrong way. This is why we need to have that inner vision, because let's just say you need to expect the unexpected. You have to remind yourself of this. This is what you're doing. You're reminding yourself. You're being essentially what I'm telling you to do. And what I'm not telling you to do this. I'm asking you to do this for your own good. Is what you're going to do is you're going to deprogram yourself by sitting still and calming yourself down and seeing what's no good and seeing what isn't true. Then there's intelligence in your mind. We'll leave religion out of it for a minute, all right? There's an intelligence in your mind that's going to discard all the useless stuff that has no purpose, or it can't be used. It's just garbage, and it's going to take what's left, and it's going to reorganize it. Put it in the proper order. Then it's going to be used for strength. See, they want you weak. They want us weak-minded, and you need to become single-minded. This is what happens when you get rid of the doubt. You become single-minded. You don't second-guess yourself. Because when you second-guess yourself, when you go, oh, and then you start to go up, what happens is this opens the floodgates to all this stuff. It's perception. There's a perception. The ego has no vision, but it has a perception. The intellect. It perceives everything in that isn't. It perceives, but it doesn't really see the truth. It's animal. It perceives things that aren't there. And excuse me. It puts things. Excuse me. I ate a whole bunch of pistachios. So, you know, you can't just eat one pistachio. You know, you got to eat like 20 or 30, you know. So but when we allow ourselves to be pulled out of reality into doubt, the floodgates opens up the floodgates, and then all this peripheral stuff starts to enter in, and it makes you unstable, and you're going to falter. But remember now, no matter what happens to you, and you falter, you're gonna just let it go and make allowances. Look, God makes allowances for me, all my faults. God makes allowances, and and you know, I need to learn to make allowances. I make allowances for everybody. I'm not. I don't want to play God. I don't. It's too complicated. I like the simple life where it's just a straight path into the light, and I don't have any illnesses. When you do God's will, you won't be sick anymore. You won't be depressed or angry or confused. You won't need any medications. You see, like the medications, the reason why you need your medication, and I'm not saying it's just if you're on medication or you're drunk or you drink all the time, you can't just quit. You're going to have to cut down slowly. And when you meditate and sit still, you're going to wean yourself off of this stuff just because you're going to withdraw from it. It's going to withdraw from you without you trying and struggling with it. But like to draw an analogy, right? Say you're driving your car down the street, right? And somebody hits your car and there's a big dent in it, right? And say you take it to the auto body shop, right? And now it's your damage. Now compare yourself to the car. You're damaged, you're upset, you're angry, you're emotional, and you're on pills or whatever. Now, say the car has a dent in it. It's been damaged too. Now, they can either fix the problem at the they can cosmetically fix it by putting Bondo in and then sanding it all down and painting it again, or you can go right down to where you can take the whole part off and replace it, put a new piece in there. Like I talked about this in my other video, I believe. Like when you go to so now you have a brand new part in there. Like in the Bondo, let's just say like the Bondo is if you're a person and you're damaged, the Bondo is the cosmetic. It's treating the surface manifestation, the symptom. It's so the pills it's like Bondo. It's like covering like the smoke in the joint, and you know, I mean, I'm not a saint. Maybe I'm getting there, but I used to do all this stuff too years ago, but I haven't done it in, I don't know, I think I haven't smoked pot in years, and cigarettes, and I haven't had a drink in 5 years probably. But I never drank that much anyways. I mean, I used to drink on the weekends, but I don't want to talk about that because that's ancient history now. So what you're doing is the damage makes what it is you have symptoms that make you feel awful. You know, your anxiety is probably one. Anxiety and fear, basically the same thing, and doubt. And all these symptoms you're treating with the alcohol and the pot. And I don't care what anyone says, when you have to alter your chemistry to deal with your problems, you have to introduce something that's harmful, potentially harmful and fatal to make you feel better. This is not good, folks. And I know this message is not easy to digest. It's not, I mean, I know it's not easy to digest. So, but you have to be patient with yourself because the good life is waiting for you if you can just weather the the um, the initial uh, uprising of the ego, the sinful nature, because it doesn't want to be brought under. It doesn't want vision. It doesn't want to be kept in check. It wants to just get what it wants. It wants to feed. And on everything that it has no regulation. It doesn't have common sense. It doesn't it's just what it is, you know. And everyone has one. And if you didn't notice, there's people everywhere killing each other, stealing from each other, cheating, husbands and wives cheating on each other, uh, people beating each other up, um, and so forth and so on. So this is no mystery. Like I say, I watch Forensic Files, and you can see how this stuff operates. Um, so, like, the doctors are only going to treat the symptom. The surface, you go to the doctor, you're crying, um, you're a mess, right? You're anxious, and you can't sit still. You have no attention span. And here's the doctor. He's not going to go, you know, he may be, if he's a good doctor, he may say, well, what you need to do is just slow down. And but you you're not going to he's not going to go into it like I'm doing right here and trying to show you what's causing this. And because he's not trained in that. Most doctors are trained in, it's all intellectual, memorizing all these facts, and you know, they go to school, and it's intellectual. But this is a spiritual problem. Doctors don't fix spiritual problems. This is why when they go to cure your cancer, or they go to cure your behavioral dysfunctions, they're going to just treat it, they're going to nuke you with radiation, or they're going to throw pills at you, when you have to get down to the root cause. And the root cause is upset and anger, and because you're angry because you believed what happened is you're angry because you fell for the lie, and you don't want to take the real cure because you deep down you know, everyone does, that there's something in them that is out of control, and they don't want to face it. It's a demon. So they go outside they go outside of themselves looking for comfort, and other people that are like them, a support group, that will support. You're going to support what's wrong in them, and they're going to support what's wrong in you, and you're just going to degenerate into, you're going to dehumanize yourself. You're going to become dehumanized is what's going to happen. Like, see, I know these people, right? I just have to use myself as an example because there's no one around but this is what happens when I run into the people that are strong before the weak, but weak before the strong. Like, when I stand up to corruption within my environment. And I won't put up with the nonsense and the dishonesty. What they do now is they get 3 or 4, like the first person that comes in and says, you can't say that, or that what happens is they run away from me in fear because they lie, because they're lying, and they need to go find Mummy Incorporated that's going to support this stuff. So they go to the superiors. And so then they come and get me. They come to sit me down in a room, usually, and they interrogate me. And what happens is, it backfires. Because what they want to do is, they think they can intimidate me. See, they're strong, like with a person that doesn't have his foundation in God, they're going to cave in and say, okay, I promise I'll be a good boy and be a liar and accept the lies and the dishonesty, and just, you don't want to lose your job, or you want to, you're just living, you're afraid, which is okay, you know. It's not okay with me though. But when they sit me down, I'm not afraid of them. They get scared of me. And when they start to see that I'm not quivering in my boots, and they can't get me emotional, they have a bad reaction. And actually what happens is, what they were trying to project onto me ends up bouncing off and coming back and hitting them. And they run for cover. They lose their composure. And then they end the meeting. And then they all get together with 5. See how dishonesty and weakness needs support? They come back and then they haul me in again, and they tell me, Mr. Gray, if you you can't be allowed to stay here any you can't be allowed to stay here any longer, because see, you make us feel bad because we lied to. Basically what this is they're frauds. I said this before, and they lied to themselves, and I exposed it. So they can't walk by me down the hallway anymore and go, hi Chris, because I don't have any respect for them, because they don't deserve any. There. This is what the world is like. They don't love you, and they would throw you out to the wolves to protect their lives. So this type of a message is not going to be, if you are afraid to come, if you don't have faith in God, that God will deliver you from evil, and He's got a plan for you, and you can't be friends with evil. Good and evil cannot be friends. You just have to be, you make allowances for the people, because you don't want to be infected with hate and what they got. So, all right, so I wrote a script today. I mean, imagine if I did this in front of a group of people. I mean, I don't know, they would run away. They would. Yep, they would go the other direction. All right, so I wrote a little script. I already went over pretty much of it, but I'll just get this out there and then I'm going to go fishing. I talked about principle and reward already. So I'm going to talk about the recovery process for a minute. The recovery process is, you're going to have to, you're going to have to learn to love yourself and be patient with yourself and trust that when you sit still, the true, you're going to be delivered from evil. And you have to just you can't go into the future, and you don't want to dig around looking for answers. You just have to be patient with yourself, because you've been addicted and you've been upset. It takes time to calm down from all this stuff. So you have to do this. You have to just learn to sit still until the truth comes out. There's a few planes flying over. So, all right. The next thing, visualization. Visualization is very helpful, because you're going to see the truth. And you're going to see, at some point, you're going to see how what the intellect and its information doesn't coincide with what you're really seeing in the present. It's just it's a perception, but it's not the real truth. It's a description. It's a description. It describes the tree was green, the tree was big, like those trees over there. It was these trees are. This is a nice grove of trees, but without the words, it is what it is, and it's real. You see, this is why people get led astray, because they believe what isn't real. Okay. Wisdom is not endearing to the sinful nature. I already said this. Okay. Having and being receptive to our own real personal thoughts. See, most people's thoughts aren't their own. They tell you, be afraid of COVID, wear your mask, love. They give you a rainbow, and they tell you, they fill your mind up with ideas, but most people's thoughts are not their own. They're totally under the hype. They're under influence of the hype, the hypnosis hype. Hypodermic needle, hypnosis, hype up, they hype you with all this thinking stuff, and they get you under a spell with their words, and this is what they do. So, we need to, when we sit still, we start to have our own thoughts that come from within. They start to push aside all that stuff, and it gets pushed aside where it belongs, because it's not yours. It's like listening to music. I don't listen to music much anymore, because I like my own thoughts better. I listen to a song, and I hear the words to it, and they tell you what they're thinking, and they sing it in a groovy song, But I mean, sooner or later, you got to realize that, I like your own thought. You like your own thoughts better, and music stuff, all this stuff. When you meditate, it's gonna fall away. You're gonna withdraw from it. It's gonna withdraw from you, because it can't coexist in there, because it's not real. We want to. The image, God says in the Bible in the beginning that He created us in His image. Now, His image is this in everything, forever, in infinity. And we are His creation, and our soul is from God, and it belongs to a higher order. And now the image that we have is pure weakness. This is why we do not take an identity from our thoughts are okay. Don't try to change them. Accept that they are what they are, but you're not your thoughts, and you don't take an identity from them. Then you'll start to see that you were there's no identity in there. You are not in your mind. That you're not an image created that you made. All right. All right. Love doesn't need to outmaneuver because its motives are honest and pure. What we're in now is we're in a world of people trying to outmaneuver each other using guile. Like when you're honest, you're not thinking about how you can outmaneuver someone else through wickedness and get what they have, or steal their stuff, or trick them. This is all the sinful nature. The animal, we all have this in us because it's a survival mechanism from our past when we lived when we lived in a jungle or in a forest, and we had the wild animals. We had to be on our toes at all, but we had to outmaneuver the animals. But people aren't animals. Well, some people are, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. That you don't need to outmaneuver. This is dishonesty. You need to take things at face value and stop the perceiving people as a threat. And what's real cannot be threatened. There's a psalm in David wrote in Psalms. This is good. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He restoreth my soul. See, God finds you when you become under God's will. When you're under the guidance of God, you'll see that you can appreciate when moments of stillness, when you can sit still, and then He restores you with vitality and joy and purpose. This is the gifts of God. You can't get this stuff from a concrete jungle. They don't care about you. No matter what their words say, they don't care about your soul. They want you to be caught up in culture, in a ambiance of a culture they want to put you to sleep so they can control you and soften you up with all their tenderizers, their drugs and their booze. They want to soften you up and make you pray. It doesn't seem like that, but that's what they don't care. As long as they can buy their Mercedes Benz, and this is such littleness, and they have no. I mean, they just. It's about how they appear. All they think about is how they appear to others in their position. That's not the word I'm looking for. They just want to they want to have the appearance of good without the principles and the substance. And if you can tell the tree by its fruit. Like, they may appear, they dress all good and everything, but sooner or later you find out that they were doing this and they were doing that. It all comes out. You don't want to be another statistic. This is what you're going to be if you follow the blind guides. And get caught up in the drug culture and the drinking. None of this stuff leads to anything good. It always leads to, you always become demoralized and you're living in depression and despair once the initial honeymoon wears off of all this stuff. It always leads to self-destruction. You self-destruct. All right. Evil rides in on the coattails of good intentions. In other words, the road to hell was paved with good intentions. When you become still and you understand how your energy turns into a creature and everything, you're going to see that you're going to be you're going to be still, and you're going to see how it wiggles and squirms when it doesn't get its own way, and you hold firm and hold your ground. You're going to see in how it wiggles. Reality doesn't wiggle and squirm, and either does your conscience in the Holy Spirit. They don't wiggle and squirm. This is the animal trying to upset you and get its own way. This is the sinful nature at work here. All right. Now, I know we're getting up to a long time, so I just want... No one is above reproach. No one. Everyone is... No one is above reproach. Everyone has to answer to somebody. Everyone. This is one that happens. The flower children of the 1960s becoming what they hated. The cops often become criminals. Our parents, like oftentimes, when we're growing up, you see our parents and how dysfunctional they can be, and you survive their dysfunction. But if you hate your father because he was a drunk, or your mother was a drunk, oftentimes we could become, the hate infects us, and we become exactly what happens is they left their when they die, they leave their replacement behind, because this is how we inherit sin. You become what you hate. Now, what we have now going on in our government is these people, a lot of these leftists in the Democrat Party, they were the flower children of the 60s, and they hated the establishment right, because the establishment right was a bunch of hypocrites, and they were evil. Not all of them, but a lot of them. So what happens is these people hated these people so much that what they did was they became what they hated. So now they're the fascists of today. They're fascists. They don't even see it. They're threatening people, and they're censoring people, and they're stigmatizing people that really are not dangerous. They're the dangerous ones. They're the ones that are going to single people out for destruction. You'll see, if they're not stopped, they're going to become the Nazis. Yet they're the flower children of yesterday are going to become the Nazis of today. This is decadence. Decadence always, and they were decadent. They were out with their Woodstock and taking their clothes off and injecting each other with drugs and smoking. Now, the decadence leads to demoralization, which is demoralization, which leads to communism and fascism. Excuse me. These people do not see this. They do not see it. So basically, in essence, what we're seeing here is a creep show. We're seeing a creep show of liars, thieves, pedophiles, murderers, drug addicts, alcoholics, etc., etc. And this is what happens when people are rewarded for doing what's without getting rewards and entitlements without having to. The ant just crawled on the screen. Without having to, the principle. They get the reward, but they didn't do anything. So now they're just weakened and spoiled and useless to society as a whole because they have nothing to contribute. Okay, I'm gonna end this. I pretty much said what I wanted to say. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to end up in a disaster and end up in just a demoralized, depressed hellhole. The ants crawling all over my screen now. You don't have to. This doesn't have to happen to you if you just have the courage to sit still. I mean, I'm not going to type that's going to sit here and yell and talk and hype you up and walk back and forth and jump around. And this is the last thing you need. You need to see the truth. And then you know, if you want to go out and jump around, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going out and running and lifting weights and doing, you know, and going out and in nature and, you know, having a good time. And, you know, but when you have to introduce mind-altering substances in body and chemicals that are going to alter your state and change the whole chemistry of your body, you're going to run into some trouble here. And this is what they're trying to do to us. They're trying to alter our food. They want to control us. So they're going to use every trick. These people are not good at all. And you need to see it. We all need to collectively do something about these people before we end up in a big hellhole, which is probably going to happen anyways, because I don't see enough people like this. I watch the news and all they do is badmouth each other, but that's not solving any problems. And it's gotten to the point it's beyond that now. So we're gonna just have to let this all play out. But you want to be on the side that is sane. And if they're all whipped, if you see that they're spouting hate and they're all whipped up on emotion and hysteria, and they got people out there doing their bidding for them, you know, smashing and breaking things, and you know that they're not doing what's right. Honest people don't go around doing stuff like that. So you just, you know, I mean, this channel, I don't want to get into politics too much, but at this point, you know, we got some real we got some communists and some Nazis on the left, and they want to take over, and they want to strip us of all our rights. They want to put the evil in charge of the good people that produce and do have, and you know, they operate by honesty and principle. They want to get rid of them. That's what the Nazis did in Germany. They stigmatized all the people that were doing, you know, serving a better purpose, and they took them, they beat them all up, and they threw them in concentration camps. Then they liquidated them. This is what these people are definitely capable of doing, this, if they're not stopped. Okay, that's all I'm going to say for today. You know, I would like to always have a, you know, this is a nice message. This is a good message, because you do want to be honest with yourself. Because people that aren't honest with themselves, they can't live in peace. You're never going to have peace unless you're honest with yourself, because you're always going to be in conflict. So this message is definitely right on target. You just need to sit still and let prayer allow what happens is, when you, through your prayer, God can reach you and show and give you the visions, and he'll speak to you in times when you're quiet. You'll be told what he expects from you, and you just have to know that you can do it. You have to get the confidence to know that you can do it, and that will come. But like I said, to be an effective soldier for truth, all doubt has to go. You got to stay locked in to the present with your eyes wide open, so the doubt can't, you're not going to give it that little crack, that little spot, that little crack in the wall, or you know, as an analogy, where it can seep in, and once it opens the floodgates, it comes in and fills your mind with all this illusion, fear. It's fear. So that's all I'm going to say for now. I'll be out in another video in a few days. Thank you for watching. Those that have the courage to get through this, and at some point, if you keep meditating, which is you're sitting still, you'll be delivered from this, and you'll have access to higher realms of, like, different dimensions of. You'll have a lot of space and you'll really enjoy. You'll really have a nice, good life. With that, I'm going to go. Thanks for watching.